I will jump with my artifact. Whoop. There you go. My name is Martin Perez, Comisso. I'm a PhD student in Arizona State University, but also I'm from Chile, and a lot of my teaching experience came from that. And for me, teaching is like the thing that motivates me to do the work I do. It's like I'm more passionate of teaching than anything. And I had a chance to start to learn STS teaching it instead of like being in a classroom. That is for specific historical structures that like happens that I engage with STS when like my colleagues from that form the Chilean STS network were arriving from their PhDs, and infrastructures and courses of STS were a very rare thing in my country. And for a reason, just after I finished my chemistry degree and I started to engage with STS more explicitly, I get the chance to offer a course in Intro to Technology for the School of Economy of my university. They were like looking to diversify their backgrounds and like make the economists think differently about different disciplines. And I was engaging in the moment in process of science and technology policy. But this class initially was taught in 2012 as like a tryout, and then like runs formally from 2013 until today, but like changed since 2017 when I moved to the US. And I asked to my students in this Intro to Technology course that was like heavily drawn in STS, but not just limited to STS, as I will describe in a second, to the class was like a lecture for undergrads, initially for economy, and then I get like a second section for any kind of like a student in the university in a program that's called like general studies. That is like an elective that the students must take 2 or 3 of them during their undergrads. And I had that moving around all the university. That's like a city distributed university. And I was like housed sometimes in the engineering school and having more engineering students, or like sometimes have moved to the history or humanities school and have more humanities students, because people tend to take their electives in what they have like closer to them instead of like what actually interests them. But I have like mix of students, and these 2 sections run in a way that like the course has like 3 modules, and at the end of each module of like 5 weeks, the students make a team to make a video about a specific thing. The 3 videos were the first one about like the history of an object that they were interested or they picked from a list. The second one was like read a science fiction novel and like start to like incorporate in this fiction the concept that they were like discussing in class about like the politics of artifacts, the design, what means innovation beyond the economic or social ways, or what means a profession, what are the future of specific artifacts, or like what the future of work, of automation, and that kind of things. And the last one was like the mix between like a movie and a paper that was like some kind related, and they need to like make an argument about like how they both relate. What was my intention with this? To make the students have like 2 kind of conversations. The first one was about like incorporate the concepts and show like that they can like think critically about like how technologies are like first made, second represented, and third integrated in our lives. And the second one, have the experience of like live with those technical constraints and like have discussions about like not just about the teamwork that they were doing, but also like we haven't in the class. I decided explicitly not incorporate a session about like how to make a video, but instead like provide resources or videos or like assist hours with the TA or times extra times that they can like make these technical questions. But always were like this kind of like students try to experimentate, in particular because it was a progression during the course of like make 3 different videos, and that makes very explicit something that you described in the Cogichamus about like that we discover technologies when they fail, and we make aware about that. And that was like my main intention on the course, like make aware students about the technological world that we live. But also these videos, most students publish it in YouTube, were public, they share it with others, and we have like conversations about like how our productions of this media were impacted other people. And the way to analyze and assess this were like with 4 different dimensions that they create their rubric in the first class. When we start the course, we create a rubric for this, that is the biggest project of the course. And the 4 dimensions were like storytelling, like the communicative form, how they're effective were like as speakers, the content of materials, or like how they integrate ideas, and the structure of the video, about like how they make a specific introduction, development, and conclusion, as well what resources they integrate, about backgrounds or like settings or other things that they go experimentate. There were not specific requirements more than those. And we have like 3 screening sessions to discuss and share and watch these videos together and comment all these different things. Yeah, this is like the artifact I want to share, and I go for the questions now.
Martin, one of the things that I've struggled with when I use more creative methods of submission is just wondering about how to balance the assessment, but also students' time and focus between the stuff that I want them working on, the content or the theories, and the learning of the new tool and the dealing with the access issues and all of that. So I'm wondering how your thinking has evolved on that throughout the experiences of using these kinds of assignments.
My experience was that like students were more willing to experimentate. And because we have like these like 4 sessions, the first one that they create the rubric together, and then like other 3 that we were screening and we were like learning. The setting of the course allows the students to work as peers and like recommend and like support each other about like how to edit or how to integrate things. And most students have like different approach to how to think about the video. Some directly record themselves with like a whiteboard or like a PowerPoint, but like showing themselves doing a presentation with their cell phones, and others start to like explore different formats and things. And I think have that range of openness about like what kind of submission looks like was like a very important thing at the beginning for me in this, because allows different ways of expression. Despite it's like a formal presentation, the students like take the chance about like what they want to focus on in like the technical part. And about the content part, I think this each one of these 3 videos had like 2 or 3 questions that were guiding it, and some of them decide to like make like guide themselves with like a very truthful document that like structurate every word that they say. And in other cases, they take these questions and they try to like be very specific that these 3 questions are addressed in the conversation, but they improvise the way that they're like express the comments about the concept and ideas that like we were like bringing to the class. And those kind of things for me were part of like this using the video as a way of expression of their learnings that they were getting. And I think being open with like the rubric, like how you interpret as like assessor, the rubric that like is used, is important to acknowledge those specific contents and limitations. And also for me was like a way to say, okay, in this first video, nobody's like using any concept. I need to like make more emphasis to like how to integrate these concepts on the way that we are like thinking about technologies for the second one, and like make emphasis that in my lectures and conversations and classes, or like questions I received via mail. I think that like being very flexible about like what is the outcome that I expect, and like allow them to own the course in how they decide to do it, for me was like the biggest learning of like being more creative with my submissions.